back to another edition of FSI's PGA Preview. I'm sitting here with John. John, how are you doing this evening?
I am good. I'm good. That was an exciting week this past week. I didn't have quite the sweat that you did, but why don't you tell us about that? How'd you end up doing?
Oh man, Sunday was a wild day. Pretty much stared at my phone for 13 hours straight. I had a 6 of 6 that made it into the top 10 of the drive to the green and was leading the Mayo after 3. And I had Sunday where all I needed was just everyone to move forward, everyone to get under 70, get me all rounds under 70, and I could have really did some damage. But Siwoo fell off. He bogeyed. We're down the stretch to get to a 70 and finish third. Hubbard bogeyed on 18. He misses his all 70. So I went from winning about $28,000 to 6. So, I mean, it's a game of inches, right, as they say. And
Yeah.
it was still a fun sweat. I can't be bitter. I only, put in 500 and got back about 5,600. So it's a great week. It's what we live for here. It's what we try to do, try to help you get to. And these videos have been a big help. The GPP core was that lineup. So, the core lineups that we do on Wednesdays could have that much upside. So, subscribe, like and subscribe our videos. Join us on fsidfs.com. And get these core plays, get in our Discord, and get with John and I during the week. And you can find some of the plays that we get on later as we go into the week. As always, these Monday shows are, our first look, our deep dive, and, a lot of good plays that come from that first look. So that's why we like to do our shows on Monday. But John, we got a Northern Trust. Why don't you kick us off with the first playoff event? What are we going to expect here for this course?
Sure. So Northern Trust, like you said, this is played this year at TPC Boston. That's Norton, Massachusetts. Don't get confused. Playing just the course last year was Liberty National. So looking up the Northern Trust history, you're not going to find the history on this course. So kind of pay attention there. This course used to be the Dell Technologies Championship. That was a playoff as well, a playoff event. So certainly looking at that will be very useful for course history. It's a par 71, 7,300 yards. Arnold Palmer design. So we'll get the tree-lined fairways, small greens, long rough. Bent grass greens. A lot to look at there. The weather so far, we took an early look. It's nothing too crazy, but certainly we'll take a little closer look as Thursday rolls around. Might get some weather coming in on Friday afternoon. So nothing to really show right now too much though there. We're looking key stats this week: ball striking, tee to green, greens in regulation. I really like par 4 scoring on this course as well. It's par 71. And then driving distance will be really important this week as well. We saw last week driving distance was really not a factor. This week, the guys with the long drive definitely get an advantage. Also, proximity 175 to 200 looks like it is the most useful when it comes to guessing the winners on this course. And then just a little bit of scrambling as well. We're going to see them missing these small greens, and being able to chip in will be important or get it close. So that's really what we're looking at here this week, TPC Boston.
Awesome breakdown as always. John, he does his No Mulligans article that goes up on our website. It highlights some early plays that he likes. It breaks down the course, a little bit of history from, the Dell Technologies, like you said. Really good stuff, John. A couple things I had on the course, like you had mentioned about around the greens, because of the tiny greens. In my model, I factored in the strokes gained short game. I thought that was, it correlated really well with, like you said, the leaders. Driving distance was another one. And I did my proximity from 200. I noticed on the course breakdown, 200 and at 175, 200. Yep. So all these second shots are going to be pretty long. So I tried to use, skill sets for long iron players that I know, guys that can really, get it close on proximities from those ranges. But yeah, brilliant stuff. Let's just get rolling right into picks. we got a star-studded cast here for this field. Let's get into this 10K range, break down a couple guys we like. You go ahead and kick us off.
Sure. So lots to like you said, obviously this is a really good field here. My two favorite golfers up top here, JT and Bryson DeChambeau. I'm going to be playing a whole lot of Bryson this week. I'm usually the sucker who plays him just about every week. But honestly, when he keeps hitting all these top fives, it's paying off more often than it doesn't. So in his last 10 events, he has 8 top 10s. That includes a runner-up. It also includes the win at Rocket Mortgage. He's played this course twice, finished 30th, and then he won in 2018, the last time they had an event here. And he's got the driving distance. He's got the putting down right now. I'm very, very confident in Bryson, as long as he doesn't have a blow up in the mind game where he's yelling at an official or something like that. If that doesn't happen, he's got a really good chance to win again this week.
Yeah, you know what? And I'm not a Bryson backer because I feel like the irons aren't as good with him anymore. But his putting it's just out of this world right now. I don't understand it. I don't know when it's going to end. And it'll probably end when I play him this week. I'll be the Bryson jinx. Watch. No, but my guy up here is the guy you had mentioned, JT. First in the model, first in strokes gained approach. He was 7th in par 5s, 14th from that proximity I liked, and 3rd in ball striking. He won Dell Technologies in 2017. He was 24th in 2018. Justin Thomas, coming off that St. Jude victory, finished pretty decently for the PGA Championship. He didn't really, turn your head or anything like that. But JT, one of the best golfers in the world. He is priced the highest. And I think, what I've noticed in the last couple of weeks is everybody is getting these big fields and they get a lot of these, really big names in the 9K and 8K range. So these guys that get up here and in these 11K range plays, they've become under-owned plays. I believe a couple weeks ago we had, Rahm and Rory. They were in the 11th percentile. I think, I had John Rahm is one of the most expensive golfers at 11%. So, these top end guys are going a little bit lower owned because, people that don't play fantasy golf as much, they don't know these names down at the bottom. So they play the guys that they do know, and they're stuck in the 9K, 8K range, like Tiger, like Ricky Fowler, like, Patrick, Pat Reed and all those guys. So I like that for that reason, that I don't think there's going to be a ton of ownership, and the higher you go in these ranges, sometimes the better. And what about anything else in this 9K or this 10K range you like?
Yeah, I mean, DJ's got a really good course history here. That's pretty interesting, but I'm actually going to be playing more Colin Morikawa. He is my guy. I've loved playing him just about every single week since his first professional event last year. So Morikawa, I think the price is really good on him here at 10-2. I would be probably willing to start a cash lineup with him. Obviously, he's consistent. He only has the one career missed cut. He has 2 career wins. He had the PGA Championship win and then a win back at the Workday here. Also, looking at his approach, though, he is just absolutely elite on approach. Since the pandemic, he's 6th in that, 2nd in ball striking, 2nd in proximity, and 6th in greens and regulation. So I'm going to be playing a lot of Morikawa. Also, he putts best on bent grass, so that is helpful since that's what he's worst at. No course history to speak about, but with how he has played the last year at a whole bunch of courses he's never played on, it doesn't scare me at all.
Yeah, Workday, that Memorial tournament is bent grass as well, so that's a good correlation, good find. You can't avoid Colin Morikawa. I don't even think you can, even at 10-2. The guy's just playing out of his mind. The next guy I'd like to talk about is Jon Rahm. John hasn't played as well since becoming number 1 in the world. Frankly, I feel like that gets cursed often, so hopefully Jon Rahm doesn't fall under the, Luke Donald effect and go completely backwards after being number 1 in the world. But he's 6th in the model, 5th in par 5s, 13th in greens and regulation gained. And for that, I mean, he's got the driving distance. He's finished, was that 13th in the PGA. He won the Memorial, so there's some bent grass right there. If this course plays a little tougher, I like Rahm in some conditions. I like John Rahm for GPPs. I think everyone will flock to Morikawa. But let's trickle down into some 9K plays. Who's your favorite 9K play?
My favorite 9K play is going to be Jason Day. Obviously, there's only a couple options here, like the last few weeks, only a few 9K guys. But yeah, I'm going to be playing Jason Day here. His current form is fantastic, 4 straight top 10s. And these are some tough events too. 4th at the PGA Championship, 4th at the Memorial. Those are really, really good finishes for him. He also has a pretty good course history here. 6 out of 7 made cuts. He finished top 25 5 different years. So I'm going to be playing quite a bit of Jason here. The stats line up also. He's 3rd on par 5s, 7th scrambling, 19th putting, and 37th ball striking. And then just also looking at his putting here over the last 100 rounds, he is 2nd shots gained on bent grass. So we know the distance is there. He's going to get it done on the putting surface. There's a lot to like about Jason Day.
Yeah, I got to agree. His form is really good. Just scares me with that price tag. Things can go really wrong with dates at times, but I certainly don't think that's a bad play at all. My guy in this range is going to be Patrick Reed. He finished 6th in 2017 at Dell Technologies, and he had a 5th place finish in 2016. Coming off of a big Sunday last week where he shot a 64, really propelled that big winning lineup for me. As I noticed, following him pretty closely, Patrick Reed didn't really light it up with the irons, but anything he did from around the green was spectacular. And I noticed he scored par 5. He had 3 eagles last week. I mean, that's the kind of upside you need for scoring on DraftKings, especially with 3 par 5s that are kind of gettable. I think that's pretty good. He's really good from that proximity range. 7th in strokes gained short game. He's 8th in par 5 scoring. So he's got 8 straight rounds under par as well. Patrick Reed's probably going to be my favorite play at 9K. Definitely a cash play. Sign me up for some Patrick Reed. Let me get your second 9K play.
Sure. I really like the Reed pick also, but I'm going to play more Xander Schauffele. I know he is expensive, but the form is there. Great form. In fact, he hasn't missed a cut since January. He lost strokes on approach actually the last 2 events, and he does not typically do that. But even though he was losing strokes on approach, he finished top 10 in both of those events still. So he's getting it done everywhere else. He did play here twice. Neither was all that fantastic, 49th and 53rd. But he does rank 10th in driving distance over the last 3 months, 4th on par 4s, 1st on par 5s, he's 17th ball striking, and number 1 greens and regulation. So we're going to see Xander giving himself a lot of birdie opportunities. He gets it done with the putter here. Again, I think he's a really, really solid cash play. He's not going to have any blow up rounds. He's just solid all around.
Yeah, Xander seems to do his best work at the tail end of the season. He usually wins these WGCs and these playoff events against these really good fields. I like the Xander pick a lot. Guy I'm going to take a stab at is Patrick Cantley, 5th in the model. 9th in strokes gained ball striking, and 8th in approach, 13th par 5s. He hasn't done really well the last 3 weeks, but I think this course really sets up for his skill set. He drives the ball pretty far. He's 24th in that statistic. He's really good with small greens because he's got really good elite ball striking. He's not the greatest around the greens, but I just think Patrick Cantley. Maybe he's gonna have one of those rounds where he pops. Workday Charity Open he went T7 on bent grass green, so maybe he was just waiting to get around to his favorite greens. I like Patrick Cantley a lot this week. Probably a GPP play, but I think Cantley is perfectly viable. Anyone else in this 9K range, or?
I mean, the only other one we didn't talk about, Simpson and Koepka. I'll probably have some shares of Webb Simpson. I think it's a good price on him at 9,500. I probably won't get to Brooks this week. He's just not been playing so well. There's a bunch, but I shouldn't say a bunch, at least a handful of guys I do like in the 8K range, though. So I might play a few of the studs up top. One or two of these guys probably, maybe 2 to 3 in the 9K range, and then a whole lot of guys down in the 7K. I think will be the popular construction this week.
Yep. Yeah. But yeah, let's get into this 8K range, see if we can decipher which guy we think is best to, pop to the top 10. That's going to ultimately make some different contrarian plays this week. What do you like first up?
So I like him equally, but I really like the price better, and that's on Paul Casey. The other guy I'm really excited to talk about is also Daniel Berger. But Paul Casey here, he's got really good course history over the last 3 years they played the Dell Technologies. He was second place, fourth place, and 21st. He does struggle on greens, just putting in general, but bent grass, he does, that's his best surface. He was 31st last week, second place at the PGA, so I know the form is there. But he's ranking top 20 right now, tee green, ball striking off the tee and approach. And then if we're looking more long-term too, he's 7th on approach, 5th in greens and regulation. So there's a lot to like about Paul Casey this week. And I think just with the other guys around him in that range could go a bit under-owned. I know lots of people will play Tiger, Hideki, and then get down there with maybe Fleetwood and Hovland too. So and obviously Daniel Berger, I think, will be extremely popular. But who is your favorite play then in 8K?
Believe it or not, my favorite 8K play is not Tiger Woods, and it's Hideki Matsuyama. And I'm totally feeling like you on this. Like, this is your guy, and I'm like all about him this week. Yeah, this is new. He came in fourth in 2018 here at Dell Technologies. He's only 8,600. He's got 4th on the approach, 7th in ball striking, 9th par 5 scoring, and believe it or not, he's gained in his putting stroke the last 2 tournaments. So I like Hideki Matsuyama. He's making cuts. He's got a couple of top 25s back to back. Sign me up for some Hideki bot. Let's see if I can be a Hideki whisperer and he gets to win this week.
I think he's a good cash play, especially at this price.
Yeah, that's where I was leaning. Yeah, I was leaning cash with Hideki as well. Anyone else?
I alluded to him. Daniel Berger here.
Yeah,
there's a whole lot to like there. I think he's going to be a very popular pick, even at the 8,900 price. He's got, in 2020, he is about as consistent as any golfer out there. He has 1 missed cut. He has 6 top 10s. He's made 4 out of 4 cuts at this course since the pandemic stoppage. He's 2nd in par 4 scoring, 16th ball striking, 13th on approach, and 15th putting. So he's getting it down. He's getting it done everywhere, but really the chipping is about the only thing that could get any better. But really, he's not the longest driver. He's just hitting the irons so pure right now. So give me some Daniel Berger.
Sounds like a solid cash play for sure.
Yeah.
I think we found a few good cash plays here in this low 9s in this 8K range. Last guy I'd like to talk about, probably Adam Scott. 11th in the model, 25th on the approach, 8th in greens and regulation gained. He's got decent distance as well off the tee. I think that's something that people don't realize. He's 23rd in proximity to the hole. Adam Scott's a pretty good long iron player. In random Adam Scott fact is he's 33rd in the field in putting. That's kind of shocking for how awful Adam Scott can putt in his career. Hasn't played a lot, but the 2 top 10s that he does have are wins, and he did come in cold off the pandemic and just bust out a 22 at the PGA Championship. So I have no problem with Scott coming in off no form or anything like that, or course history. I just think Adam Scott he's probably trying to warm up his game for some of the majors, as he's probably out of the FedEx Cup. Well, I mean, Scott's probably – I didn't get a chance to check the standings, but with the 2 wins, he should be pretty high up there.
Yeah, he's good enough. I think he'll need a decent week this week to get into the following week, though.
Does he? Okay. Yeah, well, there's some incentive. I mean, you got the 2
Yeah.
wins. All you really need to do is get to the top 25. You're probably in. So yeah, I think that'll do it for me in this 8K range. Everybody else I've kept finding issues with. Fleetwood had a terrible Sunday. Hovland's kind of losing his steam.
Yeah.
Matt Fitzpatrick's interesting because he's decent long iron player. I just don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm a
really
sucker
sold
for
on who we
him.
talked about.
I'd probably rather play Hovland this week, though.
Yeah,
With the off the tee numbers, the driving distance that we know
yeah,
we're getting
his
out of
driving.
Hovland. So I think that would help him over Fitzpatrick this week. But they're both interesting.
Yeah, this Scheffler's got some decent driving statistics as well. I just don't think he can do anything else. Well, it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Let's get into the 7K range. It seems like there's a lot up top, and it gets pretty unknown down here in the bottom. So let me
Yeah.
get your favorite play up top.
Well, starting all the way at the top here, Ricky Fowler is interesting at this price. This is crazy to see him down under 8K.
Yeah, it is.
Obviously, the form is not fantastic. He's a guy, though, that really needs to have a great week this week if he wants to be in the last 2 events. So he's kind of an outsider looking in. But honestly, my favorite play in the whole range is Abraham Answer. I think he's going to be a pretty popular option. He's got pretty good form right now, but he did finish 7th at the Dell Technologies in 2018. But I'm playing him more so just the model loves him. He's 14th on approach, 28th putting, 14th ball striking, 11th proximity. All these are over the last 3 months. So I really see a lot of people flocking to him. But again, in cash, he's got 15 made cuts in a row, and 4 of those are top 15
Nice.
finishes. So you're not going to find many guys that have made more cuts than him in a row right now. He's above average distance off the tee, but really it's just all about the iron play for Abraham. I could see myself locking him in the cash lineups and playing a high percentage of him this week.
Yeah, I can't agree more. Answer is probably going to be in my player pool as well. The 5 top 10s and 16 cuts. It's really good. I got a GPP pivot off of that, and it's going to be based on how well he can drive the ball. That's Cameron Champ. He's one of those guys that's turning into I can drive the ball 335 yards, get it as close to I can or get it onto the green from wherever and try to bomb it in. It's like he's like a farther Jordan Spieth, off the tee. It's interesting, but he's 27th in ball striking and 20th in greens gained. So he is starting to figure out the irons. He's got back-to-back top 25s from the St. Jude to the PGA Championship. He's been playing really well. He's got a hot putter. Give me a GPP dart in between what I believe to be a lot of chalk with Answer. You got Kisner English right there,
Yep.
so Woodland's right in that range. I mean, those are all decent plays. Wolf, Woodland, I mean, those are some obviously good plays in that range. I just wanted to give you guys a perspective that Champ could be equally as good with his distance and, putting ability for GPP, that we're talking like less than 5% owned golfers. So that could really separate you if you can get Cameron Champ into the top 5 and maybe Woodland and Wolf and them guys fall off. That really separates you. The 20-30 points really means a lot when it comes to the top.
Yeah, definitely. And Harris English right there is going to garner a lot of ownership as well.
Yeah.
The form on him is unmistakable.
Right.
He had a missed cut to start coming back from the pandemic stoppage, but since then 5 straight top 20s. He's made 4 out of 5 cuts on this course. He finished 12th in 2015, so we know he can score well. He ranks 8th in putting over the last 3 months and also number 1 in scrambling. So there is a lot to like about Harris English. But you're right, though. Cam Champ would be a huge ownership pivot, give you a lot of leverage on a ton of lines by avoiding Answer, English, Kisner right in that range.
Yeah.
I like Louis Oosthuizen. He's got some good course history here as well. He's
Nice.
one that tends to pop up in some really big events as well. So I'll probably sprinkle a little Usti in.
Probably not going back to the well on Kim. This probably doesn't set up well for a Siwoo.
Actually, decent course history here as well. He's had a couple high finishes.
Nice.
I could see myself playing a little bit of Siwoo. He's actually got some decent form. Wasn't just a 1 week thing. So, he's always a guy where you fear he could drop out after the first few holes, or he might finish top 10. So he almost got there this past week at the Wyndham, but he's playing good golf.
Yeah, he was really big factor in getting me up there on that lineup. Unfortunately, couldn't close the door for me, and 42-year-old Jim Herman wins, and it's just like, what? All right, cool, Jim Herman. Win every 3 years or something.
Yeah. At least we played him in Showdown on Sunday.
Yeah, we did. So that worked. That 7 under was pretty helpful. All right. I'm going to go a little bit lower here into this lower 7K range. I have Harold Varner III. Was a staple in my lineups last week. Now his prices dropped a little bit to 7,400. Like I said, third last week third last year. Sorry. He gained 9.5 strokes on the approach. 27th in the model, 15th ball striking, 13th approach, third in proximity, and 12th in greens gained. Just really crushing right now. Harold Varner. I can't say enough more about how Harold Varner has just kept crushing at his price tag. He obviously didn't like Memorial because every event he's played since the restart, he's done fairly well. He's got a lot of top 30s and top 10s. Well, not top 30s and top 20s, but just those 2 missed cuts at the Memorial. Now, that is bent grass, so there could be some correlation that he doesn't putt well on bent. But hopefully, Harold Varner can do well for my cash lineup. I was looking to play him in cash. Who do you got here in this low 7K range?
The last couple guys I'm looking at, Russell Henley, he played really well last week for us, also finished with the T9. I'll end up with a little bit of maybe Jordan Spieth and definitely Gary Woodland. Both of them have some course history that intrigues me here. Probably more so than those guys. I'll be playing Doc Redmond. I definitely played quite a bit of him last week. It helped a lot. Yep, he's playing well right now. The models love Doc Redmond, so I'll see myself onto some of him also. Just I think in this whole 7K, there's 25 names, but there is a lot of talent here. So I think it's going to be very popular to play, 2 or 3, 4 of these guys in lineups, and then get in one stud, maybe one 8K, one 9K, something like that. So I think it might be a little more contrarian this week to get down below the 7K range, only play 1 to 2 of these guys instead of 3 or 4, and then have a huge leg up, maybe play 2 studs, something like that. I think would be kind of a tournament build for the week.
Yeah, I think that I couldn't agree more. Going through some of the 6K range guys, you're like, well, I'm not going to play that guy. I'm not going to play that guy. You just kept going and crossing names off the list. But yeah, a lot of good names in that 7K range. But let's get going under the 6K range. I don't have much like we were discussing. I do have Kevin Streelman. He was 18th last year. Or 18th in the model, first in par 5, so I thought that was really interesting. 7th in greens gained, 35th on the approach, and 32nd ball striking. And he came in 35th in 2017. Streelman, he's missed a lot of cuts, but at the same time, when he gets into a tournament and he gets rolling and he starts to see that course well, top 10 upside is definitely there. 11 cuts made, 4 of them were top 10s. So it's a boom or bust approach on Kevin Streelman, but I thought 6,700 was just too cheap. Who do you got here for your favorite 6K play?
My favorite 6K play is going to be Henrik Norlander. Touted him last week here as well. He obviously didn't perform quite as well as we had hoped, T59, but really, the model still loves him here. He's third on approach over the last 3 months. number 1 in good drives gained, 4th in greens in regulation, and 10th ball striking. So a lot of the stat categories we're looking at this week really like Henrik Norlander. Other than that, I'll play some Brendan Steele. He's interesting to me as well. Corey Connors is a guy that I think a lot of people are going to pick. I'm struggling maybe to get there this week after being disappointed last week. That
was a big miscut.
Yeah, absolutely. And then kind of towards the bottom here, Sepp Straka. He's probably at the very bottom. Him and Cam Davis. I don't know that I could get anywhere below that. Or do you like some of these guys as well?
I got Cam Davis and Sepp Straka written down as well. I like Gooch a little bit. Okay. Taylor Gooch played really well. He just didn't do anything on Sunday last week. He was a guy I was looking at in showdowns. But you could get up there and rack some birdies up. Missed the cut at the PGA. Gooch, viable. Another guy I really like, Jason Kokrak. I think this course sets up well for him. So I checked up some course history. Came in 24th in 2018. He had a 8th place in 2016 and a 16th place in 2014. So he does have some upside here. Played really well last week. Racked up a lot of birdies. So I think Kokrak can make for a decent 6K play. But that'll pretty much do it for me down here. I'm going to keep it tight. Denny McCarthy went ballistic last week and knocked me out of first in the PME, but you'll have it. So maybe Sam Ryder. Sam Ryder was down. I saw his name. I thought he might feel like a good course fit. But that'll pretty much settle it for me in 6K. What do you have? Anything else?
I think that's all that I have written down as well. Kokrak did kind of pop up for me. The driving distance is interesting with him. So
yeah.
But yeah, I think if you can find the right guy or two down here that you're really confident in, and then somebody at the very bottom of 7K, I think kind of is the tournament winning build here.
Cool. All right. Well, let's get into some one and done picks. Last week, I believe you had who was your guy last week?
Webb Simpson for T3.
Yeah. Oh no. I had Brendan Todd.
Oh no.
Yeah. All right, so
Brendan burned me in a lot of lineups this
yeah, that stunk. That absolutely stunk. But you know what though? That miscut from Brendan Todd really helped me get high up the leaderboard in that one lineup. So when you get to these chalky guys, sometimes they burn one lineup, but they propel the next. So always good to do your 3 entry maxes. All right, well, you're the winner. So kick us off. Who's your one and done?
This week I'm gonna go Jason Day.
Ooh, you have gone all in, sir. On Jason Day.
I mean, he's I've played him each of the last 3 weeks, but he has the 4 top 10s in a row. And he's got some decent course history here too, for a guy he may have played this course more than anyone else in the field. So I'm
gonna have to play Day now. Pick. Oh, jeez. Yep.
He's got a ton of rounds, a lot of years playing on this course.
I'm not sure, but have I used Patrick Reed? I don't think I have.
I don't know.
I doubt I have. I'm going to write down Patrick Reed, and if I'm going to look at the list after this, and if I did, I will comment in the YouTube section with my new one and done pick. All right. Well, that'll wrap it up for us for FSI, our PGA preview for the Northern Trust. As always, guys, please like and subscribe our videos. It goes a long way. Please help us try to reach our goal to get 1,000 subscribers by football. It is coming around the corner, but we are doing really well. John and I appreciate your time. John, any final thoughts?
No, I think that's it. Let's have another great week. Obviously, you're riding the heater right now. Let's get it again.
Yes, I hope baseball looks as good as golf did. I put a decent amount down tonight, so we'll see. But, yeah, all right, let's keep it going. Peace out, guys.
All right, later.